Alright, hey guys, this is Jerry from Fight Commentary Breakdowns. I have here Spencer Higa, also known as Masuru, and he is an MMA fighter I met when I traveled to Hawaii. We have him here and wanted to learn more about him, and he taught me a lot when I was in Hawaii in Honolulu, so I wanted to thank him here also. So guys, let's welcome Spencer. Welcome, Spencer.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jerry.
Tell me about sort of your life. Did you grow up in Hawaii, or did you transplant to Hawaii?
Yeah, I actually was born on Honolulu. And then I was raised on the Big Island of Hawaii, in a town called Kaumana, on the Big Island. But then I recently moved back to Honolulu, Oahu, about 9 years ago, and I never left. You know, I just been here ever since, and where I was born, and came back to stay.
I see. When did you start your MMA training, your martial arts training? Did you start with one martial art and then kind of evolve into another martial art? Tell me about that.
Yes. So I started from boxing, kickboxing. So basically like a Dutch kickboxing style. I started at a really young age, but I really wasn't serious. You know, I was in and out. You know, my older brothers and I used to train, and I used to just go maybe 10 years old or so, but I wasn't serious. But I started from like a kickboxing style on the island, Big Island. I gradually worked my way into the MMA scene around 2008, I believe. I started MMA, mixed martial arts, and you know, I fell in love with it. You know, I felt the adrenaline and the high of just being there, and you know, the intensity of the feeling, and I just, you know, I fell in love, and I'm still doing it today. It grew to be a lifestyle for me now.
I see. When you were along in your martial arts journey and then you discovered MMA, was it like someone introduced you to it, or was it like something like you sparred with someone who like took you down? How did that happen that you got introduced to MMA?
Yeah, like so I started kickboxing fights back then, and like I think 2007, just like amateurs, and I got introduced because VJ Penn, you know, he had his own gym also on the island, and you know, there's a lot of guys doing the grappling and jiu-jitsu, and for me, coming from a stand-up striker style, you know, I actually tried to grapple, and you know, I got put it all up from those guys, and you know, it was interesting, you know. I was like, you know, I wanted to learn, and I started, and I jumped in the ring, and I just never stopped, I guess, from there. Yeah.
I mean, you talk about your brother, but was martial arts a big thing in your family in general? Was that kind of not the big thing in your family?
Yeah, it's so weird. So it wasn't the big thing at all. So back then, boxing was kind of the big thing in the family, and just like kickboxing, boxing style. You know, my brothers used to boxing like the tough man things, but and then they stopped. But I started to do it because I used to watch them, and I'm like pretty much the only one that went all the way and then transferred into the mixed martial arts MMA style. And yeah, so it wasn't like in the family. I think I am like the only one in the family that actually, like, as a fighter, mixed martial arts fighter.
Wow.
So
wow.
So it's super cool, you know. Got a lot of support, and it's just been a crazy journey and an amazing ride, you know. Do you still remember your first kickboxing or boxing match? Yeah, I believe so. I think it was in Kailua Kona on the Big Island, and I remember finishing the guy. I think it was a body with a body kick, and yeah, it was. Oh yeah, I think it was back in 2007, I believe. It was amazing. I think after that feeling too, when getting your hand raised, you know, just that feeling alone, I fell in love ever since that, and I just try to evolve. And then nowadays it's this mixed martial arts now, you know, back then, and I just fell in love with it. Yeah. So I still remember that fight.
When you started in MMA, did you do amateur fights before you did professional fights? What was the evolution of that?
Yeah, that's the thing, Jerry. So I didn't even. A lot of people look at, you know, my record is so like all over, because like I literally jumped into pro without no amateur experience. Yeah, you know, I was that kind of kid where like I was down to scrap anytime, you know, anywhere, and you know, I wanted to test myself, and at the same time, it was not the smartest thing to do, but I think they, you know, because I went against grapplers that, you know, I got, you know, it handed it to me, you know, my first couple pro fights that were ranked in the top 5, you know, in the state, you know, with a lot more experience than me, but I just jumped in a little bit too early. But there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons that I think that helped me out throughout my journey today. Like I gained a lot of experience fast, but it kind of, you know, made my record not the way I wanted it to.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it makes sense because like the first match, like you said, your first pro MMA, the guy just jumped and armbarred you, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
you know, so like that was like that was so frustrating to me. I think that made me more like try to get into more jiu-jitsu and grappling, and because of the loss, you know, you learn from your losses. They say, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, wow. You either win or you learn.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly. Wow, so that's quite like the intro to MMA for you. Wow, that I can't even imagine the feeling. It's like, oh, I didn't even get started. What? Oh, what?
Yeah, it was literally like that. Like it happened so fast. So it was like kickboxing. I had like 1 or 2. You know, I had my kickboxing fight, and then boom, and we trained in a boxing ring. We didn't have a cage, so every time I fought MMA, it was straight like we trained in a boxing ring. You know, so it was like it wasn't even. It was interesting, but yeah, that's the way I did it. You know what I mean? I also trained like in a old school backyard style. You know, in Paniava, on the Big Island, with a really good family member, friend of mine, Sergio Mamone. You know, he welcomed in you know, anyone and whoever. You know, he was just like family. We just trained there. We had our own little warehouse on the lot, and we had weights in there. We had a little mat, you know, a little mat from a high school wrestling mat, and we just did it like that, old school grind style, you know.
Wow.
So yeah.
Makes sense. So basically, since doing MMA professionally, you've been training at the BJ Penn gym, the MMA gym, the BJ Penn gym in Honolulu, right?
I've been my gym here is United MMA.
Oh, okay.
In Waipio. Yeah, so that's my gym that I train out of, and I also do my you know, I go into town UFC gym, BJ Penn Honolulu. I do my I use the gym as well, the facility, because I live in town. So, you know, I go there to get the weights in, or, you know, just to get a good workout in, and then use the cage, you know, whatever it means. But my fight team is United MMA in Waipio with Angela and Christian Lee. Yes.
I see. Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah. Wow. So that's where I train for my mixed martial arts and my fight team out there that I represent.
I see. Is there... I mean, of course, the first fight was memorable. Are there any other fights that were super memorable, whether something unexpected happened or something really cool happened, or you like felt like you were performed at your best?
I remember when I fought in Boston, Massachusetts, for a Cage Titans. That crowd over there, man. They really put on, and you know, the whole electrifying feeling and that moment was amazing over there. We ran a 3-round war with one of their hometown boys, and you know, I remember first round he got me in the rear naked, but literally he had me for a good 2-3 minutes, and I was fighting it the whole time, and after that his arm just burned. I remember in the first and second round came out, I was putting it on him, man, and the crowd was going wild because, you know, they thought they were gonna finish me. But I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna go down like that, you know. So, you know, we ended up going at it for another 2 rounds, and yeah, he got the decision win. But it was a really memorable for me because just the way they were, you know, before and then after the fight, just so much respect I got. You know, it's so much, you know, amazing people that welcomed me in, took me around the town, showed me around, you know, their, you know, the tourist attractions. You know, I hanged out with his teammates. You know, they literally asked me to come back anytime to train with them for free. If I'm ever back in Mass. So, you know, I love this fight game too, Jared, because, you know, you meet so much people. You know, we try to kill each other at first, but at the end of the day, it's all respect, you know? Yeah, exactly. So that actually brings up a very interesting question I think a lot of viewers would wonder is, how do you decide what fights to take? Because you're in Hawaii, and then in this one, you went to Massachusetts. So what is the thought process behind all that? Oh, for that one was interesting. You know, this it was their matchmaker, I believe, or their I think it was their promoter hit me up after a DM on Facebook and asked me, like, hey, you know, I don't even know how he found me, but I got a direct message from him, and he's like, hey, we want you to fight on our show. Are you down to fight? You know, we've been watching you, and we want you to come out here. So I'm like, wow, you know, I was just shocked there first, like, wow, Boston, I never been there, you know, I never been to Mass, so I was excited. I looked up the guy, you know, and then that's how we decided too, and the coaches, you know, see where we match up on them, you know, and I was looking like, hey, this is a big opportunity for me, you know. So like, I figured, hey, yeah, this is it. So I took it, and yeah, they welcomed me in like family there, and took care of me and my coach, and yeah. That's how it happened. I see. Pretty much just like that for that Boston one, yeah.
Makes sense. Do you ever kind of look for a promotion that you really want to fight for or something like that?
Yeah.
So do you ever like reach out directly to someone and be like, oh, dude, I want to fight for the next promotion or anything like that?
Yeah. So as of right now, my goal is to get into one championships in Asia. That's like it's. I say that because, you know, everybody wants the UFC, you know, and all that, but I actually been to their events, and I got to see firsthand how they treat their fighters and just how everything runs, and man, it's like, it's blown away. It's like, it's so crazy how everything is, and just the way it is, and the respect, and just everything. And as well as my teammates are world champions under their promotion, so, you know, actually going with them there and they love it, you know, knowing them. Yeah, it's that's where I want to be at right now. You know, I'll take, you know, Bellator, UFC, you know, if it knocks my way, you know, but as of right now, I think my eyes is set on one championship for sure.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And I guess since we mentioned Bellator, my question on Bellator is, how do they reach out to you? Do you have like a contract with them, or is it kind of like just more like one-off basis type of thing? Because I see that you've fought for Bellator twice, right?
Yeah. So for them, yeah, it's like a one-off basis, just like you just said. And I guess I had a matchmaker, Rich Chu. We both had each other's numbers, so that's how they contacted me again. He directly contacted me through phone, and he same thing. He wanted me to, you know, be on the show, and I was honored and blessed to, you know, step on, you know, the Bellator cage and on a worldwide stage and do what I love to do. Yeah, that's how that happened.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, in one of them, Leola Machado was in it. I was just looking it up right now. So that's pretty cool that you know you're in the same event as Leola Machado.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, that thing too. Like just to see him right next to me, you know, like throughout the whole process of wins. You know, he's in the same hotel as me. As a kid, I used to watch this guy. You know, like I used to look up to him. You know, I love his karate style, his everything from the UFC and everything. And I'm like, man, I'm on the same fight card as this guy. It's just like a dream, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been amazing, this whole journey of mine, you know, the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
So I'm embracing it every time, you know?
Exactly. Now, talking about sort of like decisions and stuff, were there any times where you or your corner were like, man, I feel like this decision by the panel or whatever, it wasn't right? Has there ever been a case like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people say that for the first Bellator fight, I believe. But you know, I'm not the type to say anything about the judges. You know, it is what it is. I always tell myself, don't let it get to the judges, so I don't have to worry about that. But sometimes it's unfortunate, and we can't help it. But yeah, I think a lot of other people think that as well. But, you know, it's okay. It's cool. You know, it is what it is. And, but yeah, I believe that first Bellator fight. But, yeah.
Makes sense. So for audiences watching, I met Spencer one time. This was my second to last day in Honolulu, and he was chilling in the cage at the UFC BJJ gym, BJ Penn gym. And I went up to him. I was like very cautiously approached him, like, hey, can we like mess around? And he was so nice. Like Spencer was so nice about it. He was all about trying to teach me and like not trying to kill me. And that's why it made such an impression in my mind. And I remember Spencer told me, he's like, yeah, you know, I've been doing this for a while. In practice, I'm not trying to get destroyed or destroying other people. I just want to work on technique. And I think that's really cool how you kind of like can separate training versus fighting and all that. And I guess I'm mentioning all this because has that always been kind of your training method, or did you kind of like mellow out as you got more into this kind of professional MMA game?
Yes. So I think mixed martial arts in general humbled me throughout my whole career. You know, it made me the man I am today. You know, just from the experience of, you know, failure and keep going to the highs, you know, of getting my hand raised and winning some belts in different local organizations, still traveling the world, to, you know, just telling myself, like, you know, this is a blessing itself. You know, just doing this, doing what you love, and, you know, try to inspire other people, because, you know, at the end of the day, I know how it is to, you know, start off with nothing, you know, and to see where I'm at now, you know, I have a long way to go, and I wish I was at another step at this point, but, you know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be living and doing what I love to do. So if that answers your question, yeah, mixed martial arts totally humbled me throughout my years and my journey.
I see. And I assume, I mean, you have a son, so probably once you gave birth, once you had a kid, right, that probably changed up a lot of your perspective on life in general.
Oh, yeah, so that was a big one too. My blessing, my son Giovanni, yeah, he when he was born in 2011, and you know, he actually turns 9 on the 8th.
Wow.
This coming week, so March on the 8th, and he's going to be 9 years old, and man, like, he's my drive, you know, he's my heart, my best friend, my motivation. Like, there's nothing, everything I do for him, you know. You know, first thing I think about when I wake up is him, when I go to bed it's him, you know, and I'm just thankful and blessed that the Lord gave me him, you know. So, yeah, he is definitely my drive, and you know, I'm the proudest father I can ever ask for.
Do you ever bring him to train with you or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. So I always did. Right now, I used to take him with me down to jiu-jitsu, and, you know, he comes with me, he watches me, you know. I took him to one of my fights, you know, for the first time. Because I don't want him to watch that thing, you know. Most times, like, thinking, like, oh, you take him to fights and stuff like that. I don't like, you know, I tell him, I want you to be a doctor. I don't want you to get punched in the face, you know, when you grow up. You know, I want you to be a good kid, you know. But this is what Dad loves to do, you know. So finally, I think it was last year? It was for the Trinity Kings Sports Combat event here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring him. So I brought him, and I won the title that night. I won a belt. And that was his first time he got to see his dad, and I got a first round TKO. And I was like, man, I brought him on stage, and he was so, like, nervous and proud and just red because everybody's looking at him. And I'm like, you know, this is, you know, my son. And yeah, man, like, it was awesome.
Wow,
it was amazing.
I can imagine bringing him to his first event, though. That was like an extra motivation for you to perform well, because I've been to events where like the person brought his kid and the person got knocked out, and I can't even imagine what the kid would think, man.
Oh man, it happens. Yeah. It happens. It's like you know, it happens, you know. But yeah, he was definitely a huge extra push for me to get the job done and execute, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and just seeing his face, I didn't know where he was, you know. I was walking out from the outside, walking down the aisle towards the cage, and I'm like, there's so much people, you know, the people, so I'm looking around, like, where is he sitting? And right before I walk in the cage, I see his face, and I'm like, oh, and we connect eyes, you know, and I'm like, there you are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, it's on, you know, so I'm like, everything just, that weight, you know, just relief, just, oh, man, this is for you, buddy. You know, I went there, and, you know, like I said, just getting the job done, nothing personal to my opponents. You know, we're all on the same mission and getting the job done. But, you know, it was all business, nothing personal. But he got to see his dad get that W. It was amazing. It was one of the best feelings and moments that I will never forget.
Yeah, makes sense. My next question then is, would you say that you're a better striker than you're a grappler, right? Or would you say you're kind of like equally skilled in both?
Nah. I think everybody can vouch for that too. Like, I'm known for a striker here and all around. Like, my bases. I came from striking. My first, you know, like I said, you know, Walter, Carvalho, known as Pop Senior. He was my boxing coach back on Big Island. So I started off from him. But yeah, I'm known for to be a striker, but I know how to grapple. You know, I know the BJJ and all that, but I rather strike. But, you know, I'm pretty much known for that, and that's my style as a stand and bang, you know, a scrapper here, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. And I guess the thing about being in MMA is that you have what you like to do, but unfortunately people are going to exploit what you don't want to do, so it forces you to work on things that you kind of don't want to work on, but it's like, it's so good for your brain to build that discipline and those brain connections.
Yes, that's so true. So like, yeah, ever since like, I always work on my weak points, you know, and that's of course the BJJ side. But you know, I'm forever trying to evolve, trying to learn and grow for myself, and I just can't wait to, you know, get back in. Right now, it's just been a interesting ride so far. But yeah,
I guess we can end this off. We know that you want to eventually fight for one. What is your next kind of fighter? What's your plan for 2020?
My plan is to you know, get back in at least 2 more fights at least, or 3 by the end of the year, and you know maybe even get a try for a tryout or something for one of those big, you know, organizations, you know, like one. So that's my goal at the end of the year. Right now, I have so much things going on, you know, but I just gotta balance is key, they say, and I just gotta find the time. And, you know, just get it in, you know.
That's interesting that, so ONE FC holds, like you said, tryouts kind of thing?
Yeah, they, I believe it's like called UFC. They have like the Contender Series, but theirs is called something, you know, it's something else, but it's similar, you know. But I know you have to, you know, catch their eye at a certain point. So, you know, I just want to hopefully get a couple more, you know, ranked up wins and in a good high fashion, and then make my way into the one organization.
I see. Hopefully. For those of you watching Fight Commentary Breakdowns, go follow Spencer. I will link his Instagram and everything so you guys can go find him, follow him. He's such a nice dude. He's such a great dude. That's why I wanted to bring him on this channel. And let us, you know, keep us posted. So, Spencer, when you have your next fight, etc., let's definitely connect.
Definitely. That would be awesome. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, Fight Commentary Breakdowns, everyone, go follow Spencer. Leave your questions for him. So, if I bring him back for a follow-up interview, or if I travel to Hawaii again to see him in person, maybe we can like answer some of your questions. So, for those of you watching, thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments below.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it.